500 times a second. That is how often the chip inside a World Cup ball reports where it is. 50 times a second. That is how often the cameras report where the players are. Same decision, same frozen moment. 2 clocks, one 10 times finer than the other. Every offside verdict this technology produces compares those two numbers, a sharp one and a blurry one. And you have never been shown the gap between them. The graphic you get shown looks like a measurement. Clean lines, a number in centimeters, case closed. Precision is the whole question here. How precisely can that system know where a player's shoulder was at the instant the ball was struck? The answer is in FIFA's own certification document, in public, where nobody reads it. 6 pages. One sentence in it does more damage than anything a pundit has shouted. One sentence about the exact moment the ball is kicked. Start with what semi-automated offside is not. That slick 3D animation you get shown, striker frozen, colored planes through his body, is not the decision. It is drawn afterwards to explain a verdict already reached. It is a receipt, not the transaction. It goes like this. At the 2022 World Cup, 12 dedicated cameras sat under the roof, tracking up to 29 data points on every player, 50 times a second. Meanwhile, the ball is doing something different. Suspended at its center, an inertial measurement unit, an accelerometer, and a gyroscope. It does not watch the ball. It is the ball. And it reports 500 times a second. That was Qatar, 2022. This summer's ball, the Trionda, carries the same 500 hertz sensor. The gap did not move, which is how the system fixes the exact instant of contact, the kick point. Because offside is not about where a player is. It is about where he was in the one instant you never see. Get the instant wrong, and every centimeter you measure afterwards is measured in the wrong world. Then the software combines the two, decides, and fires an alert into the video operation room. And here's the part the word semi is doing, which almost nobody explains. A video match official manually validates that alert before the referee is told anything. It does not disallow goals. It makes a suggestion to a person. That is what semi means. Not marketing, a human with the power to disagree. So when a goal you were celebrating dies on a screen, a person signed that off, not a machine. Credit where it is due. FIFA's stated goal: cut the average offside decision from about 70 seconds to about 25. This technology is not a fraud. Hold on to that. This is a question about what a number is allowed to claim. The ball reports once every 2,000ths of a second. The bodies, once every 20. Be precise here. A faster sample rate is not a more accurate measurement. In time, the ball is resolved 10 times more finely than the body. Between two samples at 50 a second, a player sprinting at 8 meters a second travels 16 centimeters. 16 centimeters of pitch where nobody observed him. 16 centimeters is half a football boot, the width of the doubt under every tight call you have watched. In between, the system does not have a photograph. It has an inference. Now the sharp clock. The ball says the kick happened, here. And that instant will often land between two body samples, not on one, between them. So the system has to place the limbs at a moment the cameras never sampled. That is the blind spot in the title. Not a scandal, arithmetic. It sits under every verdict you have argued about. So how big is that uncertainty in centimeters? On the pitch your team plays on. Before this system is allowed to decide a goal you paid to watch, it has to be certified. FIFA runs it and publishes how it works. Providers are graded against Vicon motion capture, biomechanics lab equipment. It states that the research provides evidence the systems are, quote, both accurate and reliable. That is FIFA's position, on the record. Now the kick point, the anchor of every decision you have ever argued with. Here is how FIFA tests it. Rewind 1 frame, then forward 2. That gives 3 candidate frames. A FIFA representative acting as the VAR looks at them, the same three you never see. Uncertainty number 1. Which frame is the kick? And decides, by eye, which best represents first contact with the ball. In the table of tests, it is not marked pass or fail. It is marked simply check. FIFA explains why in writing. This is the sentence. Quote, due to the discrete nature of using camera footage for kick point identification and the short contact time between player and ball, there is no gold standard. No gold standard, meaning no agreed correct answer to check the system against. Uncertainty number 2. There is nothing to check that choice against. Not that the system is wrong, that there is nothing to be right about. A line earlier, FIFA names the reason. Quote, due to the difficulty in syncing different camera systems and sensors, as well as establishing a ground truth over which system is more accurate, a visual check will be deemed sufficient. Syncing different camera systems and sensors, the 50 and the 500. That is not FIFA endorsing our argument, but the difficulty it names is this video's difficulty. So the most precise input in football's most precise decision is certified by a human, looking at 3 pictures, which is not corruption and not incompetence. It is an honest description of a hard problem. It just is not what the animation on your screen implies. Keep reading, because the number that decides your team's goals is still missing. Skeletal tracking, the limbs, does get a hard pass-fail requirement, and the metric is right. Root mean square difference on the offside axis. So what is the threshold? Certified systems must have an RMSD value of, quote, well above industry standard. Well above industry standard. That is the threshold. That is the whole threshold. Uncertainty number 3. The limb threshold is a phrase, not a figure. No figure. Not a centimeter, not a millimeter. And that is not sinister. Certification bodies keep numeric thresholds in detailed test manuals rather than the public overview. And this document says those manuals exist. So the verdict you are told on a Saturday rests on a public standard with no public number in it. There is exactly one positional accuracy tolerance printed anywhere in those 6 pages. 1. And it is not about the limbs. It is about tracking the ball. Quote, whilst there is no pass-fail requirement for this assessment, an initial recommendation is that the position difference between the criterion data and the provider data is no greater than 25 centimeters. 25 centimeters. And FIFA tells you what that distance is in the same sentence. Quote, a value that represents the approximate diameter of the ball. Now, exactly what that is and is not. It is not the error bar on an offside call. It does not apply to the limbs. It is not even binding. No pass, no fail. The only positional accuracy figure FIFA prints in its own certification overview is that ball tracking recommendation, 1 ball wide. And the verdicts on your television are announced in centimeters. Alerts have defaults, under 1 meter apart, close onside or close offside. Over 1 meter, clear offside. The machine's own alert vocabulary is measured in meters. The graphic on your screen speaks centimeters. Both are true. They answer different questions. If that asymmetry is structural, you would expect a rival builder to attack it. Somebody did. The Premier League. And they made the opposite bet. Live in the FA Cup that February. In the Premier League by April. Built with Genius Sports. Their cameras are genuinely iPhones. Around 30 under every roof. Shooting at 100 frames a second. Double FIFA's 50. Which halves the blind gap. 16 centimeters becomes 8. And instead of 29 skeletal points, a mesh of around 10,000. 29 points is a stick figure. 10,000 is a skin. And then they did the thing nobody expects. The Premier League system has no chip in the ball. Its kick point is suggested by the system, then confirmed by hand. FIFA sharpens the clock on the ball and lives with a coarser body. The Premier League sharpens the body and puts a human back on the clock. That disagreement is evidence. If the answer were settled, they would have built the same machine. One more difference, and it is the one that decides whose goals stand. The Premier League applies a 5-centimeter tolerance in the attacker's favor. Germany, Italy, and Spain apply none. Same technology, same law, different answer, depending on which country you scored in. The same goal scored by your team stands in England and dies in Spain. And then there is the day the blind spot stopped being a metaphor. 1st of March, 2025, FA Cup 5th round. Bournemouth against Wolves. Bournemouth scored. Kirkez put it in the net and the ground went up. Debut weekend. Its first live outing in English football. The check that followed lasted about 8 minutes. 8 minutes of you watching a frozen screen. The longest in English football. Not because anything broke, because the goal mouth was too crowded. Too many bodies between the cameras and the limbs that mattered. Uncertainty number 4. Sometimes the cameras cannot see the limb at all, so semi-automated offside fell back to exactly the thing it was built to replace. A human being, drawing lines by hand on a frozen frame. Exactly what you were told the machine had replaced. 8 minutes later, the goal was gone. That is what is at stake when the machine goes blind. Not a delay, a goal. We are not telling you that call was wrong. We do not have the number to say it. And that fallback is not an embarrassment. It is required. FIFA's document mandates it. Providers must supply a manual offside tool for edge cases where, quote, VAR interpretation is needed. Its builders knew it would run out of road. They wrote the human back in. It lists the edge cases it worries about. What happens when the goalkeeper is the second last defender? What happens when a player is off the pitch? Those are not exotic. Those are a Tuesday night in a game you are watching. So the machine can go blind, which leaves the safeguard everyone points to. Every alert is validated by a person. That person is the safeguard between the machine and your team. So how well do people judge the moment a ball is kicked? It has been measured. University of Bath, 2022, against optical motion capture. Observers judged the ball kicked, on average, 132 milliseconds later than it actually was. 132 milliseconds. Against a body clock that ticks every 20. More than 6 frames of drift. On the input that had no gold standard to begin with. Uncertainty number 5. The person checking it is human too, and be careful here. That study measured people watching, not certified officials running a modern kick point tool. That is a measurement of the eye, not of VAR performance. But that eye is the last thing standing between the alert and the goal you just celebrated. Its stated conclusion: VAR should not be over millimeters. So, what can we actually say? The technology works. This channel is not going to pretend otherwise. Decisions got faster. The tracking is dense. The certification is rigorous. What does not survive is the impression it leaves on you. A smooth animation in confident colors with a number underneath implies a known error. That error does not appear in the document that certifies the system. The threshold is a phrase. The kick point has no gold standard. The only tolerance in print is 1 ball wide, a recommendation about the ball. So by this channel's own standard, we do not hand you a verdict. We have no number for 1. Not on Kirkez's goal, not on any of them. Neither does the document that certifies it. That is the finding. It did not remove the judgment call from offside, it moved it upstream, into a frame selection. A sync between 2 clocks. A validation you never see. Football did not buy an answer. It bought a faster, better-dressed version of the same question. On this channel, we say the margin was smaller than the error bar. Here, we cannot even print the error bar because the document that certifies the system does not print 1, 550, a sharp clock, and a blurry one, 10 times finer in time on the ball, and not 1 centimeter on the player anywhere in the document that certifies it. Kirkaz's goal is still disallowed. The number that would settle it is not in that document. If FIFA publishes that figure tomorrow, this video becomes a historical document, and I will be delighted. Until then, the honest sentence is the boring one. The size of that error is not in the document that certifies it, not from the people who own it either. So, the next time a graphic freezes on your screen, ask 2 questions. What was the frame interval? And where's the band? If the answer to either one is a shrug, you have just found the blind spot yourself. One league did publish a tolerance, 5 centimeters in the attacker's favor. It handed goals back. That story is on screen now. It is the other half of this one.